feels amazing. I feel like I've personally been in limbo with Alaric for the last 2 seasons, and so it's great to be back. I feel like everything's aligned again. We're all in alignment. We've all matured a bit, grown, and have come into a new state of grace, I think. And I think the episodes I'm reading have never been better, and season 6 is going to be probably the best season for Vampire Diaries in a while. You know?
Can we see more of Alaric? Are we going to see more of Alaric?
Yeah.
Like this episode?
Yeah.
So while we did have Alaric with us, it was always, I think, in the hearts of the fans.
Right.
Did you have a lot of interaction with fans? Did you ever really kind of feel completely separate from the show? Because you did come back, but I know that...
I did. Well, my experience being away from the show was that while Alaric was shifted into the limbo state, Matt Davis sort of shifted into an equal limbo state, and there was this parallel happening, and I found that it was very difficult to break outside that sort of gravitational pull of the fans' association with you to a certain character, and it always felt like there was unfinished business with Alaric creatively, and so I felt like it was very difficult for me to move beyond the Vampire Diaries creatively, and so I was when they brought me back for the 100th episode, it was actually kind of melancholy for me because I could feel people moving away into the moving deeper and deeper into the show as I was kind of like on the shore waving goodbye, and it was very hard for me to come back, and I was prepared to tell Julie that I didn't think I could come back in these guest star appearances anymore because it was just so hard for me emotionally. And she called me up one night, and I was prepared to say, I don't think I can do it anymore. And before I could say anything, she's like, well, we're thinking about closing down this limbo storyline, and we were thinking about bringing you back. How would you feel about it? And I was so excited. I had to keep my cool and not totally tip my hand, but I was grateful because Vampire Diaries is like my family, It's more than just a job opportunity. It's more than just a character. It's been a whole life experience that I think is really unparalleled in many ways. So I felt great coming back. I felt a little uncomfortable, a little nervous at first, saying like, hey, I'm back. I hope that's okay. I know everyone's kind of moved on, but is this all right? But I think coming back, we've really gotten back on the same page right away, and it feels good. It feels right, and I feel like we're all more mature. We're all more in alignment, and I think the writing's never been better. And I think the narrative is what is moving in the direction I had always kind of secretly hoped it would be, and so it's happening now. So it's great. Like I couldn't be happier actually. It's like you always kind of look back on high school or college saying like, oh man, I wish I could go back and do it again knowing what I know now. And I feel like I have that opportunity coming back, having grown so much since I've been away, that I have a whole new appreciation for it. And I think we all do. So I think we're coming at season 6 knowing that the show's not going to be on forever, and that we're moving into probably the end game, and I think we've come into a new state of grace and appreciation for what we're doing and for each other, that I think it's really going to be a great experience for us personally and creatively,
Can you talk a little bit about how those other projects work on when you really helped you on Vampire Diaries, and helped you with your character for Vampire Diaries, and your appreciation for the show itself?
Well, moving into Cult was a very challenging and difficult experience. In many ways, and it was this sort of meta show, interestingly enough, and I felt like I was in this sort of meta experience with Alaric and Limbo, and so I had this interesting sort of parody happening for me, and it definitely launched a sort of deep soul searching for me over the last 2 years. It took me through a very turbulent time that felt very isolated, which is good. I mean, those times are always good for growth and whatnot, and so it was frustrating because I felt like I wasn't getting traction. Like I couldn't get traction in the Cult experience. I couldn't get traction in these other things I was trying to do. I was auditioning for things that my heart wasn't in. I just wasn't getting any traction, and I felt very, very stuck. And I honestly felt like there's such a connection to the fans have such a deep connection to these characters and such a deep association to us with these characters. And with the show still going on, I think it'd be very hard for people to leave the show and do something else outside the show. And I kind of feel like until the show's actually over, and we're released from the responsibility of these characters officially, it'll be very difficult for people to move forward energetically, because there's such a bond that we've created, such a gravitational, energetic pull. And our show has established such a unique connection with our fans, I think, with social media, unlike any other show, that has reinforced that energetic, gravitational connection. And so my feeling is that until the show is officially over, you're not going to really see people mature into the next phase of their creative choices. And so I'm grateful to be back. So I'm really, I was not, yeah, thank you.
Alaric is kind of buddy hunter or whatever. Damon is in another dimension.
Yeah, now he's in limbo.
Right. So how
Good luck, Ian.
like trying to get us back, and we hear that there's also another teacher coming into the show, and so where is Alaric going to, what direction is he going to take now he's back?
Well, I mean, Alaric I think will be very much a part of this emerging narrative that I think is going to be really exciting, and I think that you will see a development with a new teacher, and you're definitely going to see Alaric doing what he can to correct the error of Bonnie and Damon being where they are. Without giving away too much, the arc that's been sketched for me for the whole season is I think really exciting and phenomenal, and I think it's probably going to be the best season arc we've had in a while, at least from my perspective. So you'll see a lot of Alaric in terms of how that is developing. I know that's generalized, actor speak, because I can't
That's basically, I can't tell you.
I can't, yeah, so I'll try and artfully conjure something out of my ass. So I apologize for not being more specific.
Well, you're only at the second episode.
Yeah, truly.
What has been the most challenging thing that you've done as Alaric on the show in all of the seasons?
Well,
the most challenging scene, the most challenging aspect of the character?
Well, I think the season finale for season 3 was the hardest, for me and for the character, because they had this parody of saying goodbye. So that was definitely the hardest, and I think also coming back in these little guest star appearances after the fact was hard for me emotionally. But that said, it's such a great job anyway. The hardest thing is a relative, it's a relative thing to answer when you love what you do so much. It doesn't feel like it's hard.